My Gavanan Manonin, and well met indeed. I'm Arachir Galadirthan, and welcome back to Middle-earth as we continue on with the Battle for Middle-earth. We are now on to the last game, if you will, in the series, although this is actually just an expansion pack for Battle for Middle-earth 2, and it is the Rise of the Witch King. Now, I am using patch 2.02, which as I understand is a fan-made patch, and it allows me to run the game without needing to insert my disc every single time, because I do have these games on the disc. I was going to play with Age of the Ring, but I will wait until we've played through them all in as close to vanilla as you can nowadays, because you'd likely play this with all the patches anyway. And then we'll do Age of the Ring afterwards. Also, because Age of the Ring requires that I basically reinstall the game and install it in a different way. It requires a different patch be installed. It's a whole thing. So we're just going to do it the normal way. So, the Rise of the Witch King focuses, of course, on the Witch King and his assault on the lands of Arnor. You play as Angmar throughout the entirety of the campaign, and you attack the realm of Arnor, which of course we all know how that goes, but let's dive into it. Now this one, any hope of monetization is straight out the window, because unlike the last two, this time they didn't bother with cinematics, and they just straight up take shots from the film and include them as part of the startup sequence. So I could try and talk over this, of course, but I'm not all that bothered, so sit and enjoy.
Middle-earth enjoyed 1,000 years of peace after the ring was lost, and the death of Isildur. But Sauron was not dead, only cast to the shadows. In time, evil once more began to move. Arnor, the North Kingdom of men, ruled by the heirs of Isildur. This land of passion and promise is waylaid by men's inability to set aside petty differences. And so it was that civil strife weakened the Dunedain and broke the land into 3 realms. Rudor, the smallest and weakest of the Dunedain kingships. Cardolan, guardian of the ancient Barrow Downs, where the forefathers of the Dunedain lay entombed. And Arthedain, the most powerful of the Northern Realms, still ruled by Isildur's heirs from its capital at Fornost. It was during the reign of the 8th king of Arthedain that evil began to multiply in Angmar, a twisted, frozen land that lay north beyond the Etten Moors and home of the Black Númenóreans. Among them, a sorcerer of great power arose, known only as the Witch King. He has taken up his iron crown for a single purpose: to destroy the Dunedain and their kingdom of Arnor. Before Arnor can be invaded, the Witch King needs a symbol to unite Angmar's proud and willful denizens. Legends say that here in ages past loomed a great fortress of the ancient darkness, its ruins dark and silent in the mountains. Rebuilding this bastion will secure the Iron Crown's dominion over the Black Númenóreans and the northern troll tribes.
Here, among these dark peaks, we will build a stronghold to bring ruin to the North Kingdom. There is great evil in this place, especially the Black Númenóreans, men whose dark loyalties and fire for dominion we must rekindle. What's this? A warrior troll who fights like a trained swordsman. He would make a useful servant, indeed.
And we're in. So if you, like me, are pedantic, and whilst I constantly eschew that the belief that everyone should pronounce things however they want to pronounce things, I counted 5 things in that little introduction that the fellow said wrong. Of course, Sauron is pronounced Sauron, everyone knows that, and it's always very jarring to the ear when someone says Sauron. But Tolkien specifically lists and gives a guidance in the appendices to Return of the King. He tells you how to pronounce the various diphthongs and vowel sounds and whatnot, and it is definitely Sauron. This feature as well we see in Rudauer, whereas the gentleman called it Rudor, which was another thing that was wrong.
What brings you to this place?
Oh, there's a lot of talking in this one, by the way.
Kill iron-faced men who live in old ruins to north. Keep trolls fighting trolls. Rogash bring trolls together. Take gold and meat from men in green lands.
Your destiny is at my side, Rogash, not scrabbling for scraps. Bring your brethren to my banner, and there will be gold to grasp, meat to devour, and blood to stain your blades without end.
Bish bash bosh. Now remember, I'm not using an HD mod or something like that, so this is, unless the 2.02 patch adjusts it, this is what they look like in their raw, unvarnished forms. And to be honest, looking at them, I think that is correct. Look at the eyes on that bad boy. Absolutely off the shazang. So before I continue moaning about the pronunciation, of course, these are our primary characters for the whole campaign. The Witch King goes without saying. He does have an option to stand on his own 2 feet. There we are. So he doesn't have to ride his gigantic warhorse. And I think when he goes on his foot, yeah, he has his mace then. But I think it upgrades to an even more fearful mace later on. We've also got Morgormir, or Morgomir, who is said to be one of the Nazgul. It never really mentions it, and it always just calls him the Lieutenant of Khan Dum. But he's actually one of the Nazgul. He's supposed to be anyway, of course. He's not actually one of the Nazgul. None of them are named other than Kumul. But this is what the Battle of Middle-earth have given the name for one of them. And then finally Rogash, of course, who is entirely fictional, but leads all of your troll battalion. We shouldn't... we won't be able to zoom out as far in this one, I don't think, either, unfortunately. There's a lot of cinematics at the start of this campaign. I'm hoping... It's been many years since I played it properly, but... I've done this first bit so many times in testing and setting up my recording. A bit bored of all these non-stop cinematics. Only because I've seen them many times.
Yourselves. But if it is the blood of men you thirst for, then it is the blood of men you shall have.
Yeah, the trolls are on our side. Look at all those troll battalions. Standing strong. See, now that you've seen what the Snow Troll in Battle of Middle-earth, The Rise of the Witch King looks like, you understand why the Snow Troll in Divide and Conquer looks the way it does. It is basically an exact copy of this unit, which is pretty damn cool. We're being attacked by the evil men. Let's just toddle over there and hit them. Trolls are like cavalry, really, but as you will note, they do still die. Also, because it's the first time we're playing as evil, we get a little taste for some of the evil powers, and you'll note that amongst them is not a healing ability. It's not for the evil nations to have that. We've got a 50 damage and 50% armor. We've got to turn everything in an area to snow, so they can't produce stuff, and then the wind just knocks everyone to a certain place. And then sensible flying, so it keeps your units alive for a little bit longer. Rogash. Dominate troll. Take control of a target enemy troll. His first one is essentially leadership.
We must build our fortresses. We must reach the 3 building sites and clear them of any opposition.
Yes. So it shall be. There we are. The campaign properly begins. Let's give it a save, just in case something crashes, so that we don't have to go through all of that again. Campaign. Oh, I spelled that bizarrely. With an H and 2 N's. Everyone knows that's how you spell campaign. Right, so going back to the narrator and his flaws, sadly. What were the other ones? I'm sure you know. It's the pronunciation of the AI combination of letters that's present in both Arthedain and Dunedain. And of course it is pronounced as Dine, as if one were to sit down and dine with us. And not Dane, as in Dane Ironfoot. Whereas the gentleman called them the Dunedain and Arthedain. And those are both obviously wrong. But, I mean, it doesn't take away from my enjoyment, but it's always interesting when the official releases of these games get these things wrong. I always find it quite interesting. They've not taken the time just to spend a few moments to look up how you actually pronounce what they're saying. And they essentially just go with, oh, that'll do. The other thing, of course, that we should talk about immediately is that we're fighting off Dark Numenorians here. It specifically says Black Numenorians. But, of course, Black Numenorians never lived in... Angmar. The peoples that rose up and fought against the Dunedain that lived in and around Angmar were primarily men that already lived there. The Dark Numenorians, there is scope, of course, that some of the Arnorians might have sympathised with the plight of the indigenous folk who were never really ever given a name, but the people that lived in Angmar before Arnor was even founded. They are related in a way to the hillmen of Rudauer. They are the people that the Witch King had in his army, alongside the hordes and hordes of orcs that he brought with him. But it is very clearly written that it is men of the land that fight against Arnor, coupled with the beasts that the Witch King manages to rally up, and the orcs that he brings with him. So Dark Numenorians were never in Angmar, I'm afraid. But as I say, there is definitely scope that some of the Dunedain might have turned to serve the Witch King, maybe through coercive powers that he has, or maybe because they sympathise with the indigenous folk, as I say, or maybe because their hearts really were dark and they were only slightly on the fence about being faithful or King's men. So there is scope for it, but there's not like a colony of black Numenorians that live in Angmar. But of course, many people that play this game, which is most Lord of the Rings fans, because this game came out when the films did, or shortly afterward, most people do think then that this is canon and that Dark Numenorians lived here, which is why people constantly ask for Angmar to have Dark Numenorians amongst them. But they never would have done. They never would have had Dark Numenorians.
We have cleared a building site and started building a fortress.
I really thoroughly enjoy this one though, and for one key reason, which anyone who's ever watched my channel will know, is that the Men of the West faction, which is the hybrid Gondor-Rohan faction, gets a unit added to them, which is quite possibly the best unit in the entire game. I mean, I say quite possibly. It is, indisputably, the best unit in the entire game. And of course, I'm talking of the Knights of Dol Amroth, which are added with the Rise of the Witch King, which is fantastic. Do we get the builder back? Oh no, he toddles off. Activate Collector's Edition features.
Numenorians have a dark iron forge.
Ooh. I won't bother doing that at the moment. But... Alright, we're in. Keep attack moving. Rogash, have you got your troll landing thing yet? No, you need to be level 5. Morgamir, what do you bring to the table? Minus 25% damage and armor for those around you. And the Witch King has Dread Wrath. Minus 33% damage and armor and nullifies enemy leadership. So it's like an anti-leadership ability. Stop those archers shooting at us. Oh, and we can get all of the early tier. Oh, Frozen Land. 33% damage, 33% armor, and earn experience faster. Yeah, go on then. Why not? Trolls are doing alright, but not amazing. Hill Trolls are our standard anti-cavalry troll, and Snow Trolls are our anti-infantry troll. Focus, just smashing that guy. Right, we need the Dark Forge or something. Didn't they say capture the Dark Forge? Something like that. Sorry if you can hear the cat bell in the background. She's sitting on the floor and she's rolling all over the place and the bell's ringing. Find and clear the 3 fortress sites. Level 3, level 4. Right. Rogash is level 4 and Morgamir is level 3.
Dark King Mighty.
Oh, they're up there. Got to kill them. Let's go, chaps. Go and finish those last ones off.
I am first of the King's men.
I am first of the King's men. Once we have completed the Rise of the Witch King, my plan, to be honest, is to go back and play the Evil campaign with the HD mod turned on for Battle for Middle-earth 1. Because remember, when we played Battle for Middle-earth 1, I didn't use the HD mod. So my plan after this is to turn on the HD mod for number 1 and play the Evil campaign. Then play the Evil campaign of number 2, and then come back to this one with the Age of the Ring mod, because it adds a new campaign, and you've all been requesting Age of the Ring. Given that these campaigns last, like, what, 2 weeks or so, I think that's a fine little... that's a nice little sort of projection for the channel, isn't it? So I think that's what the plan will be. Something else I was going to say about the... Something else I was going to say...
Don't let it fall. We have finished building one of our fortresses.
Yay! Let's get some of those stone throwers out. Upgrade to level 2.
The Witch King's new fortress is complete.
So from our fortresses, we can get a little modifier that does exactly what the Frozen Land does around your camps.
We can use it to recruit new trolls and wolves.
We get the House of Lamentation, which reduces the damage and armor of people around us. We get the Spikes, which damages units standing near to us. So it has a lot of modifiers to units standing near to the fortress. And then you get ice munitions for your towers and your catapults that you can build on the side. And then lastly, you get ice walls, which improves the armor. The ultimate ability of our fortress is the ice tower, or it's something like ice tower. And it allows us to... I think it allows us to call in like an ice barrage somewhere on the map. I can't really remember. It's been a long time since I've played. We'll get it in one of the levels though, so you'll be able to see it. Now, in this game, I have purposefully tried to leave the sound a little bit higher, so it might in places drown my voice a touch. but I'm not too bothered with these ones. I tried to make it that way around rather than... Because we play Divide and Conquer so much that we don't really want the game drowning me out, because we all know the sound effects. It's just people hitting things. But this is new. These sound effects are new. These voice lines are new. And a lot of these voice lines are the ones that we actually use in DAC. So I wanted to try and show them off by increasing the game volume a bit. So I have gone for I favoured a little bit of a slightly louder game volume. Attacking one of our fortresses, the bastards. Haha! Oh, see, if I could couple that, if I could twin that with a Rogash jump, that would have been a dream. To be honest, I think we're going to win down there. Annoyingly, my microphone is now completely blocking out this area, which is right where we're fighting, so I keep having to look around it to see where we actually are going. Something you'll note I got there is the spike collars. They allow the dire wolf pack, I think, to do a little bit more damage. Look at that, we absolutely ruined those folks.
We have cleared a building site and started building a...
Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say, is with all of these episodes, I am just going to do one mission per video. So if this video ends up being, I don't know, 20 minutes long, then so be it, it's 20 minutes long. There aren't very many campaign missions, and so to do 2 in 1, I think just cheapens the series a bit. We should devote 1 episode per mission. And that's the plan moving forward, even when we return to number 1.
We have finished building one of our fortresses.
Unless it's like 5 minutes long, of course, like the Moria mission from Battle for Middle-earth 1.
Completed a new fortress.
We'll wait and see for that, but... I assume then... Oh, hold up. What? Black Numenoids are coming to destroy our fortress. If any fortresses fall, all is lost. And a counterattack arrives. Have we got any... Oh, it did give us these, and I didn't do anything with them. Whoops.
Build it strong. Work,
so this is going to be a bit of a challenge. Because none of our fortresses have any buildings. Right, how much of money have we got? 500. Let's get a couple of towers on the front lines. So let's pop towers on the front of that one. Towers on the front of that one. And towers on the front of this one. Give me towers.
We're done with that one.
And then we can get a catapult. Oh yeah, the catapult.
Building is complete. Battle is joined.
Battle is joy. The last thing is a den of wolves, so wolves run around the castle. And
Snow trolls here have joined us.
get the catapults up. But do still try and build me mills. Build me mills. Get that money, get that money. We need all the money. 500, that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. I like to complete... Oh dear, I've done something. I don't know what I did there. Build me another catapult, please. Now we just need the money to build the catapult down there.
Don't let the trolls see you slacking.
Build me some of them if you can. We've failed abysmally. Oh, we've got our 2 catapults over here as well.
Work for you lazy worms.
Go and try and hide at the back where you can shoot at the enemy without being hit by the enemy.
Don't let the trolls see you slacking.
And then we're going to have to try and
Build it for the Witch King.
move the army as and when the enemy comes, I think. It depends where the counterattack's coming from.
We finished that one.
Oh, they're almost certainly going to come in from there and there, aren't they? Tell you what we're going to do then. It's going to break you off into teams. You're going to be team 2. Go and stand up there. You're going to be team 1. Come and stand. Oh, with them. There you go. Look at that. Perfect. Brilliant. Oh no, they're all coming in from the south. Buy us some time. Buy us some time.
Building is complete.
We have no money whatsoever. This is only level 1 though. I am playing it on hard, granted, but I don't think it's going to be that difficult. Oh, they're coming with upgraded weapons. Oh, and there are a lot of them. There are a whole heap of a lot of them. Rogash has an area. He has an area of effect attack, so he can kill more than one thing at once. We've got all of our trolls. And if they're coming in piecemeal like this, which they are, we'll be alright. Let's freeze the land. And let's try and draw them in. There we are, that knocks them all over. Is it just that one army? Because if it's just that one army, we'll easily win this. Does the Witch King have to survive? Yes. So he must not die. Oh, actually, in fact, use him to go and stop the siege. I think Rogash is almost good enough, to be honest, that he can kill most of these things on his own. Come on, Witch King, do as you're told. Yeah, this is over. The archers aren't going to be able to deal with those trolls. Come on, Witch King, do a bit more damage than that, son. Lead from the front, man. There we go. Yeah, it's over. They counter-attacked, and they didn't do it well enough. We didn't even get to see our Grand Fortress in action. I really like the Angmarim Fortress. I like the design, I like the iron spikes, and I like the sort of curve architecture that they go for. I think it's good. Victory! Glorious.
Either your lives or your wills are forfeit. Choose now.
Your will is ours, Dreadlord, now and forever.
You are
Cowards.
broken, but I will reforge you into a blade worthy of the Iron Crown.
Yes, Angmar will bring ruin to the lands of Arnor. The Witch King leads, and we follow.
A chill wind blows across the lands of the West.
Bish bash bosh.
Now all of Angmar is united under the Iron Crown. Legions of orcs fight under the command of the Thrall Masters of Angmar. The great fortress at Khan Dum continues to rise. It will make an ideal sanctum for the Witch King to work his fell sorcery. The hammer is forged at last, ready to smite the heirs of Elendil and lay their kingdoms low.
Elendil. It's pronounced like more like an E sound than an I sound, I'm afraid, sir. But there we are, level number 1, the Rise of the Witch King. We're finally taking a turn and actually playing as an evil nation. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. The Rise of the Witch King was always the one I played the most when I was younger. Mostly for the Knights of Dol Amroth. But it is what it is. I do hope you've enjoyed mission number 1. I don't know how many campaign missions there are in The Rise of the Witch King, but again, I expect this is only probably 4 or 5 episodes long. I shouldn't have thought there's more than that many missions. But for now, do leave me your feedback on the episode. Do leave me your thoughts on any mods you might consider for the far-flung future when all the campaigns have been completed. But for now, and until we speak again, dear friends, Nevair Neden Pedimad Melonin, and farewell.